Hello, we are back with a new MOBCAST. I am here with the very, very special Mr. TC Boyd, the artist.
What's up, man?
Not much. How are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Glad to be on, man. Glad to be on.
Thank you for coming. Definitely. Glad to finally get this shit going. But yes, TC, for those who do not know, he's a lot of things. He's a musician. He's an entrepreneur. He's a motivational speaker, all kinds of things. What else? Tell us.
Yeah, man. Music, spoken word poetry, business, family man, and yeah, I'm just a, I guess I'm just a, I don't know what to call it. Well, I don't know what they, I don't know what they even call it.
You're a Renaissance man for sure.
Yeah, there we go.
All over the place, like Renaissance man. And multi-disciplinarian or something.
Right.
But yeah, and he is a very positive individual. He's coming around promoting all this positivity. He's a pillar of strength and positivity, but it didn't always used to be this way.
Oh, yeah, not at all, man.
Correct.
Not at all.
Yeah, so how did this all start for you? Because you're originally from Chicago, right?
Yeah, originally from Chicago. So yeah, man, growing up for me, man, I grew up in, rough neighborhoods.
Yeah.
All I saw was gangs. I saw prostitution. I saw people getting shot. I saw drugs,
Yeah.
And so being a kid, especially listening to a lot of my favorite music too, that's all I thought life was really, really about. So that's all I went towards. I gravitated towards that. And when I was 9 years old, my father actually died of AIDS when I was 9. So he wasn't really around anyway. My dad was addicted to drugs. He was a crack fiend. He put my mom through a lot of hell, and he also, put my grandparents through a lot of like crazy stuff. Stole from them, had them like robbed, all kind of crazy stuff. So I mean, I know I say that, but at the same time, the memories that I do have of my dad were good memories, though. When he came around, actually, what I mean. But when I was 9 years old, he died. So he died of AIDS, and I didn't really know how to take it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really understand it fully.
How long did he have it?
I'm not entirely sure, actually.
Yeah.
All I know is that we went to see him at a nursing home. This was like when it was bad. Like he was gonna pass away, like at some point. We saw him in a nursing home, and they were saying that he had like, I don't know, like 3 months to live or so, but he died like a couple weeks later or whatever. So anyway, man, so that, that was always something that like just stuck in me, man. So I think after that point, though, I was a real angry kid, man. I was like super angry, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize why, but yeah, I became super angry.
And it was mainly because of that, you think?
That had a huge part.
Yeah,
that had a huge
definitely
part.
A big part.
Yeah, a huge part to probably do with it. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much, man. After that, been an angry kid. Just I always fought. I fought a lot. I fought like all the time in school, grade school, all that. Middle school, whatever. I fought a lot.
Yeah.
And so, my bad, hit the mic. So, anyway, fast forward, when I was 14, ended up losing my brother to gun violence. He got shot. He got shot like 5 times, like twice in the head, and the hip, back, leg, all that. And so that at that point, man, I just felt like I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? When my brother got killed. So I had some.
How old was he?
He was 17 only. He was 17.
And then how old were you at the time?
14.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was 14. He was 17. Yeah, and so I had a lot of like just crazy things like that I could have decided to do at that point. I had people come to me and say like, man, we can go get the people that did it, in the area, but we didn't know who did it, but the general area, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I had some tough decisions to make, man. But I got involved with gangs at that point. People came to me like, look, man, like, ride with us, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, yeah, so that's how it started for me, just being involved with gangs, you know what I'm saying, and that type of lifestyle for some years. And so, yeah, that was the journey, the beginning of the journey at least, obviously it wasn't positive yet, but so then shortly after that, a few years after that, when I turned 18, my mom was always like a praying person, you know what I mean? So she was like, you know, she was always just praying, you know what I mean? Like that for the best for her kids, you know, for us and all that stuff. So she told me and reminded me of like this guy that was at this place out there in Chicago, like at this church place, whatever. You know, I never really like going to church, none of that stuff. So anyway, I went to this men's thing. It was like a men's thing that they were having. Mm-hmm. And so long story short, I ended up actually going. I was like, man, I just want to like figure out something different, you know what I mean? And so I went, you know, and I went up there, they were talking and, you know, prayed and stuff. But at that point, it was like something just clicked in me, you know what I mean, when that happened. And since that day, that's when my life started changing for more positive.
What do you think clicked in you?
It was honestly, man, it was a spiritual, kind of a, you know, more of a spiritual awakening is what I call it.
Because did you walk into it like with an open mind, or were you kind of like, this is stupid or whatever?
I was very, very like skeptical, you know what I mean? I had some open-mindedness, you know, the fact that I went, you know what I mean? But I was still like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know. But it was something to me that I knew was like searching for, you know what I mean? Like something, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like.
So what do you think was the point that made it like pop off that night?
Well, what happened was actually, man, the guy was sharing like just a message about like, you know, Jesus and stuff like that. So basically it was just like, I felt like I can't explain, it's hard to explain, but I felt like a presence like in my heart that just felt good when it was being shared with me. And so they were like, man, if you want to get this freely, because it's free for anybody to get, come talk and we'll pray and all that stuff. So that's basically what happened. So I went and I did that. And so like, all I know is I just started bawling, crying, man. And I felt like a heavy weight lift off of me. And I just felt like it's hard to explain, but like this super good feeling inside and all over my body, man. And I was just crying, but it was tears of joy though. It was like, man, like I felt like I found something that I was like kind of searching for that I didn't realize I was searching for, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was really what it was, man. It was like, after that, that's when things started like kind of just like clicking. Like, man, it's like, if I felt like the best way to explain it is like, it felt like my eyes were open, but in a different sense, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like as if my eyes was closed the whole time while I was living. And then like all of a sudden, it's like my eyes are open now, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the best way to explain it.
And so your mom was always religious then, basically?
Well, not always, but yeah, she had. Basically, I found out because, you know, as a kid, you don't really know what your parents go through. But when I got a little older, I found out more about her story. Uh-huh. My mom's story is crazy. So you know, she wasn't always religious at all. No. Yeah. Her story was.
But maybe at least while she had her kids or so, or something, maybe.
Well, I think she got into it like probably sometime like we were not when we were probably firstborn, but like some at some point mm-hmm. within that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the reason I ask is you had that experience when you were a bit older. Were you not religious at all before that? Like, did your mom try and get you into it?
She tried to get us to go, yeah. I mean, she would make us go, you know. Obviously being a mom, so sometimes she'd make you go, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, you ain't got no choice. So
but you didn't care back then? You were just like,
I didn't. You know what it was? I think sometimes when I was there, it was like, oh, cool. No, I was like, why the heck I got to be here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of a mixture
just
of
indifferent to it or whatever. And
it was kind of like, I didn't, But you know what's funny, though? Now that I look back, though, I am still grateful for that, even when I didn't want to go, because it was like, I see some of the things that I didn't learn, at least, you know what I mean? Like, just about life, you know what I mean? Not necessarily just, you know, pertaining to everything they taught, but just about life in general, kind of like things that I learned kind of, you know, that I wouldn't have learned even at a younger age, even though I didn't want to be there. I was trying to ignore, you know. But there were some days, though, I was listening. I'm like, I didn't realize, but I was really listening, you know what I mean? So, anyway, man, that's pretty much the gist. My mom, man, her story's pretty crazy, though. She went through a lot of crazy stuff, man. Abusive relationships and just like, man, crazy dudes and just it's a lot of stuff. I didn't know, you know what I mean? Her mom was like abusive at one point. She had to leave on her own, 17-year-old pregnant with a kid and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a lot, man. So anyway, man, so for me, man, you know, just go back to why you asked, you know, for me, the positivity started there. I just had to, backtrack because, I still had to do a lot of growing, after that point. But that's where it all kind of started. I started to see the world differently, than I did before. So all my rival gang members, the people that I would be ready to fight, I started talking to them about love. I started talking to them about like God and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it was different, y'all. Like, for real, like, some of me just changed, man.
Yeah, so you were in, like, a gang that time.
Gang, yeah.
So after that night, what happened? You're like,
I was still in the gang.
Like, fuck, I'm in a gang.
Yeah.
Like, so what happened then the next day? You're like, what am I going to do or something? Or
nah, you know what? You go ahead, my bad.
No, I don't know. I was just going to say, I don't know. Were you still in the gang for a while? Or were you like, I got to get out of this?
Yes, I was still in the gang, man, for, like, almost at least a year. Before I ended up going to college, you know what I'm saying? So basically, man, what it was like, cause when you're involved with any kind of gang, man, like the people that's there, they basically are like your fam, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so they're like your family, you know what I mean? So like, you don't just be like, all right, family, I ain't never talking to you no more, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to just do that, you know what I'm saying? So, I basically was there, with my guys that I was with, man, and like, since I was changing inside, I just started sharing with them, man, what I was going through, like what I was experiencing.
How they react to that.
What I'm saying? Half of them was like, you crazy, man. What the heck you talking about, man? I was talking about all this. Like, what the heck you talking about, dude? Like, shut up. Stop talking about this. You know what I mean? Like, for real. That's how half of them were. Then the other half's like, whatever, man. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a few people like, that's dope, man. You know what I'm saying? You trying to better yourself, whatever, So that's kind of like, the mixture that I had. But what was more tripped out, well, there'll be times where it's like rival gang members where we would normally want to fight. I remember one time I was walking. This was out by my high school I was at. They had like a rival gang. I don't know if I want to say the names or not. I guess I can say. Can I say the names or it don't matter?
I don't care.
Okay. So yeah, it was like a rival gang. They were like the Latin Kings. And so we're walking, and the guys I was walking with were like G's and SDs and stuff like that. So long story short, one of my guys was like, hey, yo, there go one of them, you know what I mean? We called them like derogatory names, you know what I'm saying? But like, there go one of them, name that would diss their gang or whatever. So anyway, so he said, hey, there go one of them, man. Hey, yo, man, let's get this mug, So it was like 2 of them actually, and it was like 6 of us, you know what I mean? So I step up, like, and when we got closer to him, I was like, you know what I mean? Because actually, earlier that day, I was talking to one of the Latin Kings, one of the rival gang members, about like the stuff I was experiencing. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, they talking about him now because we're outside walking, 6 of us and 2 of them. So it was the one guy I talked to earlier, and then it was one of his crew members or whatever. So I'm like, man, I can't let these mugs just jump this dude like that, you know what I mean? Like, and I know I can't jump because
he's gonna be looking at you. What, dude?
What the heck?
You just told me about all the peace and love. As he's getting his ass kicked and shit. Like,
right, exactly.
You're just standing there like, my hands are tied. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was like, man. I was like, I told my guys, I was like, look, nah, man, they cool, yo. You know what I mean? Like, I told him, I was like, man, let them pass, man, they cool, you know what I'm saying? That's all I said, really. I was like, let them pass, they cool, bro, you know what I mean? Like, I was chopping up when I gave the dude a handshake, gave his other guy a handshake, you know what I'm saying? Let him know, like, we chill. And then one of the guys I was with was like, man, y'all lucky, man, that folks said, like, let y'all ride, because y'all was finna get mollywopped. I mean, something like that he said, you know what I mean? And so that happened a few different times, man, where I just kind of stepped in,
Had to bring the peace.
Yeah, I stepped in and bring the peace, man. Even because, depending on who it was, like, with the people that I was with, like, it could have been where they got mad at me, you know what I mean? And, like,
right.
Yo, like, what you want, man? Like, you ain't ride with us no more?
They're going to beat your ass now.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it could have been that. I mean, that didn't happen, thankfully, but that's what it could have been, too, at the same time, Because what happened during that time, man, like, one of the Latin Kings got shot. And it was around that area because that was a big area for Latin Kings, you know what I'm saying? And so then they went and shot an SD, you know what I'm saying? That's like, they're not exactly the same gang I was in, but they're under the same branch or whatever. So anyway, they went and shot one of the SDs that was there in that area. And so it was a real war going on during that time, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like just fighting, you know what I mean? Like, it was like shooting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me, like I say, stepping in like that, a few different occasions, man, it was more of a bigger thing than, you know what I mean, I even like probably made it even, seem like, because I was dying, you know what I mean? Anytime that stuff goes on, like, it's war, you know what I mean? Like, people trying to shoot people trying to, like, stab people trying to like beat people with bricks and stuff, you
Yeah.
know. We had a lot of fights where we throwing bricks and bottles and stuff like that, you know what I mean, across at each other trying to like, you know what I mean. So anyway, man, yeah, so that was that time, man. Just started trying to spread like some positivity and stuff, man. You know, that's where it all kind of began, man, for me, man.
So you remained in the gang for like a year.
Yeah.
How long were you in the gang then? When did you say you started?
I started, man, when I was about 15.
Okay.
So when I was about 18 is when I kind of, well, actually, this is what happens. This is the truth here. So only reason I really got out was because I left.
Because you said you went to college.
Right. So it wasn't like, I didn't really, honestly, to be real, I didn't really like go nowhere to drop nothing, like, you know, renounce my flag or none of that stuff. Like, I didn't do none of that. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause a lot of people do that once they, you know, it comes with a lot of consequences though, you know, depending on, you know, who's your chief and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't do any of that. I just kind of left the area and just like left it alone.
Yeah, because you
weren't
in Chicago anymore. You left for school.
Right. I left, man, and I went to school. I left like to a school that was like an hour away, and I stayed on the campus. And I just stayed out the area. Man, I just didn't go back. You know what I'm saying? But I was grateful that I didn't. You know what I mean? Because I, you know, it just helped me a lot, man, to really see the world differently. You know, college I went to, man, it was like it was a lot of people that I had never been around in my life, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of like, you know, people that, you know, white people, Mexican people, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of Mexican people in my school, but it was a lot of Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying? Black people too, you know. So I, yeah, so I just got, you know, I just got around a different culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was majority like, you know, white people, whatever. And so it just showed me a whole different world that I never even experienced, you know what I'm saying? Like a whole different culture. Like everybody ain't got to be like mean to each other, you know what I mean? Because I grew up, like, we ride the CTA bus, you know, Chicago bus, like, you know, to go to different places, you know, go to school and stuff. Like, I'm looking mean, you know what I mean? I'm like, test me, you don't see what's up, you know what I mean? Like, that was my mentality everywhere I went. And so, you know, you had to be ready to fight at any time, you know what I'm saying? Because people get on the bus, you get five dudes on the bus that's on some dumb stuff, then you got to be ready to square up and go, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I grew up. And so I just, yeah, so just going to this new place, you know, and it was just a culture shock for me, you know what I mean? I started seeing people like nicer, people were like kind of smiling and stuff, saying, hey, you know, I thought I was in Pleasantville, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know the movie Pleasantville? Right. I'm like, I'm in Pleasantville right now, man, you know, everybody's like, hi, you know?
Well, how did you go from just being in a gang back, all right, guys, see you guys later, I'm going to college? Like, how did that...
Yeah.
Like, did you always plan to just go to college?
Nah, man, I didn't. You know, when I, so what happened, man, was when I, so I was failing in high school. You know, I was failing terrible. I was failing. Yeah, I was failing. Like, my last year, when my last year started, I'm getting like D's and F's. So I was never really good in school. You know what I mean? I always get like, I was a C student or less. You know what I mean? Never better than C student or less. So my senior year, I'm failing in school and all that. And so after that encounter I had, like I said, at that men's thing I went to, you know, I was praying a lot, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, my life started changing. So I wanted to do better. So I actually started actually reading the books. Like the first book I actually read, to be real, like the first book I actually really read was the Bible. Like, because I started getting into that, and then like that just like started. I'm like, man, I like reading. You know, I was reading that. I never really used to read, you know what I mean? And so I started reading the Bible. And then after that, I started reading my school book. Like, man, I can read. So I started reading that and I started learning. And so I pulled my grades up because I wasn't finna graduate on time. So I ended up pulling my grades up to graduate on time. So I had like C's and B's, you know what I'm saying? Nice. I probably had like 1 D, you know what I mean? But I had like C's and B's, you know what I'm saying? Which was going from D's and, you know what I mean? C's and D's and F's, you know what I'm saying? So, so that was kind of like something that started to make me think like, man, maybe I should do something more, you know what I mean? By the time, especially by the time like my end of my, you know, by the time the end of my senior year came up. And so, long story short, man, there was this guy that was at a college fair at my high school, and he came and I talked to him, and you know, out of all the people I talked to, it was like something that just clicked. with, in connection with this guy in a school he was talking about. It was a school called Olivet Nazarene University. So it was like a kind of like a, a school that was along the lines of stuff that I just started experiencing, even with coming to this, after that men's thing I went to. And long story short, I went to visit the school, and it just felt like right, like everything in me. I just had this peace and just like this ease and all that stuff. Just like, this seems right. So plus the school was a real good school too. They had like a good reputation, for what they taught, and like academically and stuff. So I was like, I don't know, I'm check it out. And what was crazy is I had a scholarship to Jackson State University actually for drumline, because I was on the drumline.
Okay.
And so I ended up turning that down, and I had a scholarship, bro, like to go there to be on the drumline, which is insane. But I just felt like the right move was this other school I went to, and it's turned out that it was.
Would you have to just get loans then?
So. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a whole nother topic there.
Like, dude, just let me get the scholarship for this one, please.
Right, right. Can you apply the scholarship to this?
Yeah.
So, being that I didn't really have a plan for college, you know what I mean? I didn't know anything about loans. I didn't know anything about... I knew I had a scholarship, but I still didn't really know how in-depth that went, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand the whole process and all that.
Right.
So, basically, man, I just ended up going whatever they told me. They gave me grants, they gave me some financial aid because I have financial aid. Then they gave me some loans too, you know what I mean? So yeah, some grants, financial aid, some loans and everything. And so yeah, they got me in. Like I say, I didn't really know, I just knew that I wanted to go at that point, you know what I mean? Because I just thought that I could do something more, so... Yeah, I didn't really have a plan. I wish I did, but I didn't.
Well, what'd you go to school for?
I actually studied mass communications. So I did a lot of stuff like, even similar like to, the setup here with like radio stuff, public speaking. Public speaking was a big thing with it. And like marketing and journalism, that type of stuff. So it was like a conglomerate of stuff.
Yeah.
It was like a casserole.
Yeah, you think going to school for those types of things specifically helped you push you into this direction now? Because you're like, now you're doing motivational speaking and all that kind of stuff too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I feel like I found my voice, more so like to be able to use my voice, to project it, to get the skills down for that. So yeah, absolutely, man. Creative writing too. They really helped with creative writing too and everything. Yeah.
Now, while you're in college, what was the whole process of like from the time you started college to the time you got out? Like, what was that like living there since you were just away from the gang?
Right.
Like by the time you got out, you're just like, that was just in your past by that point? Or did you have to ever like readdress it? Like, did you go back to Chicago after?
Well, yeah. So it's funny being there. I met a lot of guys that was actually from Chicago there, which was pretty cool. And a lot of those guys like used to be in gangs too.
Yeah.
And they kind of like had, it was like similar experiences and stuff, which was kind of crazy. I was like, that's dope. So the only thing I feel like as far as the gangs go, the only thing I feel like I had a hard time with was just breaking like habits, like breaking habits of thinking I had to be so tough. I think I got to be so bad and hard is what they call it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you ain't gonna touch me, what, So that was one thing. And then the other thing was like, I used to always wear my hat to a certain side, because gangs have hats on certain sides. So I had to kind of break that habit too. You know what I mean? Like, right, yeah. Let me just keep my hat straight or pointed straight back or something like that. I don't got to be on that. So, but other than that, as far as the gang go, yeah, that I didn't have too much of a problem with that. But the other thing was
they didn't come back for you like, you still with us? Like,
nah, man. Like, nah, man.
He's gone. He made it out. So
yeah, you know what it is though, man. I think too, man, with the people that I knew that was involved with them, man, the gangs and stuff, like, because especially my inner circle of people that we, because it's how gangs work. You have the people that are like calling the shots, but then you have your inner circle of people that you actually rock with. You know what I mean? So I feel like majority of people that I was really with closer like that in the gang, we kind of had like a same thought process similarly, because like one of my other guys, he ended up like going to college. He went to like just like a community college, you know what I mean? And he got into a field, that was really decent paying field, you know what I mean? And one of my other guys, he wanted to do something like that. He didn't, but he still kind of had his mind around something different than what he was used to.
Yeah.
You know, and some of my other guys, you know, similar. So I feel like that was part of it. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like people coming back and stuff like that, man, that, you know, that wasn't something that, you know, that really occurred, you know. So which you're obviously, you know, grateful for, you know, that wasn't no like bad blood or nothing like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, so, but yeah, I was just fortunate when I went to the school, you know, to meet other people that had similar experiences too, you know, because that helped a lot, you know, with just kind of getting acclimated with the whole school thing. I'm like, oh, y'all from Chi too? You know, yeah, you from the Chi? Okay, yeah, what's up, man? You know, like, you used to be in what gang? Well, I was in a rival gang from you, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we would have been like fighting each other and stuff, you know what I mean? But we ain't, you know, none of us on that no more, you know, so that was a lot of that. You know, like, it was, yeah, that was a lot of that, which was cool, man, like I said. So, yeah.
Yeah. So then what happened after school?
Yeah, so after school, man, after school I got a job, which I was helping, like, people that were in and out of jail. So it was, like, teenagers and stuff, you know what I mean, that were, like, in and out of jail. So they were like 14, 15.
So were you living in Chicago then after school?
No, so after school, my school was about an hour south of Chicago. So I ended up staying in that area.
Just stayed there.
Yeah, I didn't go back to Chicago. I was like, I think I would have been fine, but I just, you know what I mean? Like, once I experienced a different area.
New chapter anyway.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because, like, all the people in that area, you know, even outside the school, it was just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people were kind of different, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and I was around a different culture, you know?
Well, especially like any big city, especially like Chicago, New York, anything, is definitely different, you know? Like,
right.
If you live there for too long, even not just being in a gang, but just in general, if you just live in a city like that for too long, it's going to, like, you're just going to be, like, harder. Like, you're just going to toughen up because it's just there's so many people and you're all, you know, in your own zone and everything, and it's just...
Absolutely,
a weird
man.
dynamic
it is,
with all these people in this little space, and then all these other things going on, especially, it's wintertime now and everyone's really on edge or whatever. It's like a weird thing. And then, you might, where you ended up maybe an hour away or whatever is probably a little more chill.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more spaced out, you know, like
it was, man.
Like, not all stacked on top of each other and whatever.
Yeah. It was, man. You're absolutely right. It was just, it was a nice change, man. You know, so I think that's why I never really went back like that, because, you know, I went back to see my family, obviously, you know, but I didn't go back to stay. You know what I mean? I went back for like a couple summers when I was in school, but that was it. Like, I didn't go back to move or nothing, because I just, But, yeah, but you're right, though, man. Been in Chicago long enough, man, anybody that goes there, if they're there long enough, they realize, like, most people are just, like, to themselves, and kind of, like you say, got to kind of be, like, kind of hard, cold, like,
right.
Don't talk to me, I'm minding my own business, you know, leave me alone, you know what I mean? So... That's
when you get to the point of, like, in big cities, it's like... You'll see someone getting mugged. It's like, all right, I'm just going to keep walking. Like, you know, that kind of shit. It's like,
for real. Like, for real. It's crazy, right? Yeah. It's crazy to even think that happens. But, that's what happens, man. Mugs be over there getting, like, beat up. Yeah, everybody's like, what? You know, I can't,
I'm late for my meeting. I got a business call. Whatever.
That's real, though, man.
Yeah.
That's real, yo.
But, man, so you had this change in your life. And then when did, like... other things start to come in as far as music and everything, spoken word?
Yeah. So I've done music my entire life. You know, even as a kid, I always like singing.
Yeah, how did that start? Always, you just...
Yeah, I mean, I can remember when I was 5, man, I used to have like broomsticks and just like singing and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And my family was very musical growing up, so we would do like, pretend like we had like a singing group, you know what I mean? And just like sing and all that stuff. So that was always a big part of just my upbringing in music.
What kind of music influenced you when you were young?
Oh, influenced me? Man, some of everything, man. Like, you know, soul music, blues music, definitely rap, you know, hip hop stuff. Some rock music, some pop music. Yeah, it was a conglomerate. R&B. Yeah, it was that was the one thing that was pretty cool though. I think because I was exposed to different types of music. You know what I mean? Which was interesting. Majority it was probably mostly like hip hop though, and hip hop and like R&B. But I still was exposed to a lot of different types of music too.
Was that just your own curiosity, or like was your mom always playing different stuff, or what?
Yeah, it was weird. I think it was just like a mixture of like places I went to, family members' houses I would go to, and my mom kind of tuning in different stations, brother kind of to my older brother tuning in to different stations, and then like having other friends and stuff that I would like meet. Like I say, I would say majority of the people were listening to like pop, R&B, and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But then also there'd be like this blend of other stuff. You know what I mean? Like other like alternative and all this other stuff that I would hear, you know what I mean, which was cool. Like I said, I didn't know then when I was a kid growing up how much that would have influenced me, but now the way I do music now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that conglomerate of different styles and stuff, you know what I mean? From like even like like pop and rock and you know what I'm saying, like just even hip hop combined, like that's a lot of my like even style now, with some of my music that I kind of like compose myself, you know what I mean? I like guitars and you know what I mean, like rock sound, and then but mixed with hip hop and mixed with some samples. And anyway,
and so you've always been into hip hop then?
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing that influenced me
ever since you were young and stuff. Like when you were first listening to hip hop, and did you ever think, oh, I want to do this? Or
I did, man. I thought that I was always thinking like, man, since I liked rap, you know what I mean, that I wanted to rap. But it's the thing too, growing up, man, like all I learned growing up was like you either be a rapper or you be like a basketball player or a football player or something. Like so a lot of like black kids growing up in certain neighborhoods, that's all they really aspire to be because that's all they think they can be.
Yeah.
So for me, I was just a normal kid with the same dynamic. All I thought was like, I could just be a rapper, because that was like what was cool. That was what people do. You know what I mean? So, which I love rap. Don't get me wrong. Like I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was dope. But that's still at the same time I didn't realize like that was part of it. You know what I mean? Part of it was the fact that I just thought that was all I could be. So that was probably why I gravitated towards that. You know what I mean? The most. So I would look up to the guys in the music videos and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or making the songs and stuff. So with all the girls and chicks shaking their butts, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because I thought that was
this is all right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's, so I just thought, they had the cars and flashing money, you know what I mean? So I thought I thought that was what it was all about, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, the gift that I had for it, that I realized and I found out that I had for it was just a gift. So, I knew I wanted to use it though, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. At what point did you start getting into music, like creating it yourself, pursuing it?
Actually, I started going more seriously right before college. Well, right around the time I was going to college. I was actually, after I had that experience I had, with that men's group I went to, there was this label. It was like a Christian label or whatever, and they wanted to sign me to be part of the label. But I ended up going to college, and I did like some different shows for them or whatever. Performed like a few like festivals they put on out in Chicago. But I ended up going to college, and then like I lost contact with them. Like I just stopped talking to them. The dude would call me, you know what I mean? I was just so busy and focused on college, I didn't even like, I was young and dumb, I didn't really think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I kind of lost contact with the dude. The dude thought I probably did him bogus, you know what I mean? So, so at that point when I went to college, everybody knew me as a rapper. I would just freestyle for hours, literally hours, freestyle though. Off the top of my head, just go. I would do shows at the coffee shop at the school, just of me freestyling.
So were you always like freestyling or writing? Did you just start doing that around the time you started college, or were you always doing that when you were younger too?
Yeah, I would freestyle all the time. Yeah, and like when I was a young kid and when I was in high school and all that, like I would just freestyle. Like I would always freestyle super fast too. So freestyle off the top of my mind, like super fast. So that was what got me like, even in high school, that's what people kind of knew me more for. Like this dude could spit off top of his dome just like fast though. Like he didn't write nothing. Like how did he do that? You know what I mean? So that was kind of like what I was kind of known for in high school as far as rap goes. And then in college, I just kind of did that more. So like I say, at that point, I would put on like, you know, shows at the coffee shop out there, you know, on campus. And I was just like freestyle the entire time, man. Like literally folks would just sit there for like an hour or 2 hours and just hear me freestyle, yo. And, but it was like, you know, honestly, man, I know it was a supernatural experience at the same time while I did it, you know what I mean? Cause the thing that realized, like, this is one thing that made me realize why I have to keep doing music, because when I was first there, it was like the first or second day at that college. I was freestyling, man, and I was just flowing and, you know, just feeling what was coming to my heart, just saying it. And I had people crying with tears in their eyes, bro. Yeah, they were crying, man. And then like after that, like, you know, we just like all like prayed together, yo. You know what I mean? Folks was crying like, man, I needed this, blah, 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 and all this other stuff, man. So that was for me when I realized like,
yeah, we got something here.
Yeah, we got something here, man, to where it's like, it's, you know, it's bigger than just me and it's bigger than just the art itself. You know what I mean? So it's more about impacting people for things that they might need. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the music be even more transition to, you know, to be about like less about just, you know, me and, you know what I mean, like all the stuff I can do, you know, my rawness, my dopeness, all that stuff, you know what I mean, that I was used to saying, to like something more meaningful and powerful, you know what I'm saying? But I still do my like super dope, like, you know, you can't touch me type stuff, you know what I mean? I do that. I still do that to this day.
Well, you gotta have some of that.
That's rap, you know what I mean?
Come on, guys. You know how it is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, I like spitting bars, you know what I mean? So I still got my bars, I'm just spitting bars, you know what I mean? But I do make a lot of stuff that still now to this day, I do make a lot of stuff that just, you know, I just try to touch people, man, you know, because we all, you know, this thing I realized, man, we all live life, man, and we all go through different things, man. So hopefully I can share something, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through music, or whether it's through me speaking, that will help somebody, encourage somebody, you know. Somebody probably want to go jump off a building or something, shoot themselves, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they hear, you know what I mean? They may want to stop now, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah.
Now, when you're doing these, putting on these shows in the coffee shop, are you just doing a cappella, just going off, or do you have any music behind you? Or?
Majority of it is a cappella, bro,
Nice.
which was more insane that people stuck around that whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that it was like, you know, sometimes I would have people beatbox, and other times, you know, I would sometimes have like a beat or something playing, but I didn't really have those many beats. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I would literally be a cappella a lot, which is
Were you
crazy.
also like spitting it in like the sense of like spoken word, kind of more of like a poetry type
that's
delivery,
straight,
or you were just straight
rap.
It? Yep.
That was straight rap. That was straight rap. Yeah, that was before I really got involved with spoken word. Yeah, that was before spoken word, man. So that was just straight rap. Yeah, straight rap bars, man. Like, yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah.
So then when did spoken word came in?
Spoken word came in more in the last like 5 years or so. So that was like, you know, some years after. Cause I started like hearing spoken word, hearing about spoken word, you know, and I feel like it came even more, you know, when I moved out here, cause I moved out here about 3 years ago to the QC, and even more then it got even more serious, you know, like I got more serious about spoken word, cause like I say before, I had like heard about it, you know what I mean, and started like, I always wrote poetry, you know, so when I wrote poetry, I didn't write it in the same form as spoken word, cause it's a little bit different, you know what I mean, so I would still write poetry, but then when I got involved with spoken word, I found out that it's different, you know what I mean, and it's still similar but different. And so that became something that I was like, man, yo, this is dope. Cause it's basically like rap, but then it's like speaking. Yeah. Just like you're doing a speech almost. You know what I'm
like so if you're already doing rap, what made you want to do spoken word? Like what was it about spoken word that made like, I'm already rapping. You know, what made you also like, oh, this is really good to pursue? Like,
you know what it was, man? It was the fact that it was free. Like in a sense of like free form, free flowing almost, you know.
Unique delivery.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Cause like the thing is though with rap, like if you don't rhyme and you're rap, then you ain't really, you know what I mean? Like folks like, this is rap, you ain't rhyming, you know what I mean? And I feel like spoken word gives you that freedom to do a lot of different literary forms. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I mean,
More of like the poetic aspect.
yeah,
of it
like
and stuff.
cause you don't have to end in a rhyme on
Sure,
every
yeah.
you know, after every line or every other line. You know what I mean? Like you do with rap mostly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So spoken word is kind of freer. Like you can end in rhyme or you can not end in rhyme. You know, you can use like all different kind of like styles you want. You know what I mean? And so it just freed it up, man. I feel like that's what I liked about spoken word. It just feels like you could just be so much more free with
Yeah.
how you write. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, after college, you've just been working and stuff. And what led to you ending up here in the QC?
Yeah, man. So pretty much, man, I was working at a job out there, and I didn't want to work there no more. I was working at Hertz actually, and I was like, man, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I mean? So, one of my good friends that was working there, he ended up leaving too. No, he got fired actually, and then one of my other good friends left. And they were kind of like, it was just me and one other person at the office at the branch, Hertz branch, and I was just like, man, like I just wasn't feeling that no more. So we ended up it was me, my wifey, and we had like a couple shorties, a couple of our kids that we had, and we ended up going to Chicago to my mom's place, because what happened was the ladies whose house we were staying at in the town we were in, she said that she was going away for a year, but she probably won't be coming back. So we'd have her, we still have the spot to live at, you know what I mean? Because we were renting it out. And so long story short, that month of her return from her, because she went to another country for that year, on the month of her return, we found out she was gonna come back. She's like, she needed her house back. I'm like, what? Like, what the heck? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was like crazy. So we like, what in the world, yo? So, long story short, man, we ended up like looking for places. Like,
I'm sorry, where were you staying at then?
So yeah, it was Bourbonnais, Illinois. That's where we were living at. So it's like an hour south of Chicago. Kankakee,
same area as the
yeah, same
college
area.
and
Yeah.
stuff,
So yeah, we never left the area. Yeah. So Kankakee, Bourbonnais.
Okay,
yeah. So so anyway, man, we were like scrounging, interviewing for places, like, man, like checking out places. None of the places felt right. None of them felt right. You know what I mean? It was like, this ain't right. This ain't right. It just felt like we forced it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So long story short, we ended up going to Chicago with my moms out there for about a week. And then we moved out to the Quad Cities with my girls' parents. We went out there, and we were there for about 6 months when we first moved to the Quad Cities.
Because her parents are here?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Her parents' shop. So yeah, we did that for about 6 months, man. I tell people this because this is how I got into entrepreneurship. So granted, we moved out here, we go into our parents' spot, and we didn't have no jobs, right? We didn't have no, had a little money, not really a lot of money, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of money. Say like not a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit of money. And we had like 2 kids, you know what I mean? And so, long story short, we weren't living there free, you know what I mean? They charged like $400, you know what I mean, a month, you know what I mean, every month since we moved there. So I had no job, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
my girl had no job, you know what I mean? So that's when I started my first business. That's how I got into entrepreneurship. Basically, man, I went door to door selling this product that we had started selling before we moved to the Quad City. So, and I call technically we started doing entrepreneurship before we moved to Quad Cities, but I say
now you're basically thrown into it full time.
Yeah,
at
basically
this point,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like when we were doing it out there before, like I did like a direct selling company, like those network marketing companies people do. Like I did that when we were out in Bourbonnais, Kankakee area. And then also, I did that. I did like a couple of those, you know what I'm saying? So I was familiar with entrepreneurship and all that stuff a little bit, but I felt like it wasn't a full indoctrination into it until I came here, you know what I mean? Because I was forced and thrown into that situation where I had to provide for myself and my fam and then also pay people. So I went door to door doing sales, man. I was selling an item that we created, it was a food-based item. And we ended up meeting a guy. It was crazy how it all worked out. We ended up meeting a guy who had a kitchen right literally down the street from where my in-laws' place was, and they had a commercial kitchen. So that's how we got hooked up with having a commercial kitchen to make the stuff that I started selling.
What were you making?
We had like this caramel. No, at the time we started with this cookie item, and then we had this caramel item that we started doing. And then eventually we got into popcorn, but that was shortly, that was a little bit after. But so we had these two items.
You're still doing the popcorn, aren't you?
Yeah, we're doing that now.
Some popcorn.
Yeah. We're doing that now still, yeah. But so I literally went door to door to different businesses. Like I went to the salons and barbershops and places that would have like a group of customers. So I could kind of like maximize on the amount of people they would have it there at once. So I would ask them like, man, look, man, new business, we're trying to like, set up, man, see if you guys want to buy something for your customers or see if your customers want to get it. So a lot of places will let me sell it to their customers there. Some places will buy it and offer it to their customers. I had a lot of places, people scared, slam the door in my face. You know what I mean? They're like, "Who's this dude?" You know what I mean? I'm just being real, especially being like a, a young black dude. You know what I mean? They don't know who I am. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They like, so I had more scared. You know what I mean? Some people say, "Don't come back here again," like all kind of stuff. Which was totally fine. But it grew me a lot. I learned a lot from doing that. So every single bill, I tell people this: every single bill I paid since we moved out here has been from that business. Like, because we did, like I said, we weren't living for free, so they didn't give us no free pass on living. I paid that every month. He didn't, never missed a beat on that. Paid our cell phone bill, paid everything, literally every single month from that business. But I went door to door and I grinded. You know what I mean? I was busting my butt. You know what I mean? Like Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? Sometimes Saturday. But I share that to say, like, because my biggest thing is like I like inspiring people and empowering people to accomplish things they want to accomplish in life too. So I feel like I went through a lot of like hard stuff becoming an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Like, because most people wouldn't want to go door to door, do nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what they selling, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so, but I did that. I went to different businesses, you know what I mean? And it grew me so much, man. And I was able to, like I say, I was able to provide for my family. So I started the door to door, and then we ended up doing events and stuff, and then we ended up getting them into a few stores in a local area.
Doing the events, selling your stuff at events?
Yeah, we sold our stuff at events. I did the door to door, and then we ended up putting them in stores. So we had they were in like local like establishments and stuff, in the area. And then we just kept, just doing it from there, man. But the thing that I was gonna say I learned, man, was that my limitations were only in my mind, you know what I mean? Like that was the only limitations I had was like in my mind, because any days that I thought I couldn't do it or I would have these feelings of like fear, like I don't want to go to nobody's door today, you know what I mean? Like I would feel that, but then I'll fight past that, and I realized that couldn't stop me. And I would make like, that day I make $100. Next day I can make like $80. Next day I make $250. Next day I make $300. Next day I make, you know what I mean? Like, so it would vary, how much I make. Some days I make $50. You know what I'm saying? Some days I make $20. You know what I'm saying? It would vary, but the thing is though, was like I was making a living for myself.
Yeah.
First time fully in my entire life, and I never knew I could do something like that.
Yeah, and then just mainly the fact of just that you, even if it's a day, it's like I don't want to do this, don't want to get up, and then you just push yourself through it, get up and get out there, and then by the time you're done and you're looking at this money, you're like, shit, like,
bro, like, I know,
like that's like the best feeling when you did it yourself. It's not like you're just going to some job, just going through the motions. Here's your paychecks and dumb stuff, but like,
right, bro, like, yeah,
actually having to get out there and like really push to like make ends meet and whatever.
Yeah, man.
There's just that reward. It's like the same idea of like growing or hunting your own food. It's like you have way more of an appreciation from where it came from, like so you can appreciate where your money's coming from because it's like it's just all you.
Yeah, absolutely, brother, man.
You could go to McDonald's right now and just be, all right, what can I get you, sir? And you can do that for some money, but that's just you're not gonna get that feeling of like that makes you feel so good, like man, really made this, earned it, whatever. But
yeah, it's not that like it, man. It's not that like it, man. Like I say, like I never because none of my family was like poor or broke, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So like we didn't have no money really, you know what I'm saying? And so I didn't learn this, I didn't learn entrepreneurship from nobody, you know what I mean? Like I just went out there and did it because it was like I knew I needed to, you know what I mean? I had one of my guys who was like one of my really good friends, man. He was encouraging me too. He's like, bro, you gotta do what you gotta do. Get out there and grind. You know what I mean? And he's one of my good friends to this day. I call him like a big brother, mentor / type, because he's so dope. But Yeah, it's nothing like it, man. You know, like I said, I felt empowered for the first time in my life, in a sense, financially, to know, like, you know, I can make something of my financial future without having to 100% rely on somebody else.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, that was empowering, man. And so now to this day, you know, I always share with people, man, like just to inspire them, you know, to know that they can accomplish stuff. You know what I mean? Like, know that they can, like, you know, you put your mind to something, man, and you actually go and grind, man, nothing can stop you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
Most definitely.
yeah.
So at this point, you're doing music and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it at that time? Like, where did all these other things start to come in? Like, as far as like speaking and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, how did that come about?
Yeah, so with speaking, I think I picked that up along the way, because when I would do music, you know, even like when I left college, I would still do music places.
Mhm.
So sometimes places will want me to talk, you know, like speak to the kids or something like that, you know, speak to the, you know, teenagers or something, you know, just try to like encourage them and stuff.
Just from playing music, you said someone
Because of
like,
music,
would
yeah,
ask you?
yeah. As a result, yeah. As so,
Well, like, where was the first place you did? Were like, come to the school and talk to these kids or something?
I'm trying to think. It was probably like, I don't know if it was a school or if it was, because I did a lot of schools too. I don't know if it was a school or if it was like some kind of youth organization.
Yeah.
But I know I had like someone that, you know, they had me come out to do some music. It was a youth organization. They had me come out and do some music. And then they wanted me to come back and talk to the kids, you know. So that's pretty much what I did. So I did some music the first time, then they brought me back out to just talk to them just about like my life and kind of like some stuff, you know, like just to inspire them and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty much what happened on that end, man.
Like, oh man, here's another avenue.
It just showed me that there was multiple ways to use your voice, you know, whether you're doing it through music, whether you're doing it through speaking, you know. So at that point, I forgot too. I did a tour in Chicago. It was called the Stop the Violence Tour with the Youth Advocate Program. That was before I moved to the Quad Cities, also before QC. And so we went to different high schools and grade schools in Chicago, in the actual city. And it was all about stopping violence, you know, because out there, you know, it's real. You know what I mean? Like, it's real. People dying, you know what I mean? So we were doing it. We did a tour. We did music. We did like, people did dance, and we did like poetry and stuff like that. But then we also spoke to them and talked to the youth and stuff. So just to try to like encourage them to stop violence, you know, put guns down and stuff like that. So so yeah, I did a little bit of speaking at that point too. So that was like, yeah. So that's all. I guess all that kind of like helped
Just
to
like
start
snowballing over all these years and stuff.
Yeah, kind of just snowballed. Yeah.
So is that all what you're still doing now? Music, entrepreneurship, spoken word and speaking, and then now you're doing like kind of business consulting? Is that what you call it,
man. So so I do a lot, man. You know, I do juggle a lot, man, which you know, it's been, you know, at times it's hard, but then at the same time it's been really rewarding too.
You got to do it too. I mean,
yeah, well, yeah, I do have to do it too. So the thing is, like, since you know, like I share my entrepreneurial journey, I'll talk to a lot of people sometimes about that. And what happened was, like, I found that businesses a lot of times don't really know what they're doing as far as like online marketing and stuff like that, and just, you know, just getting their business together just to kind of make it flow in the modern age that we're in, you know what I mean? So I started talking to like friends and stuff like that about like my entrepreneurial journey, how I started, and then how I you know, started making, you know, money for myself and everything. And so that's how that whole consulting thing came about, where I just started realizing, like, man, businesses need help, you know, individuals need help. So I first started helping individuals, friends and stuff, say, hey, this is how you monetize yourself. Like, if you're doing music, this is how you like create some streams of income to actually support your music. Because we all know when you're doing music and music alone, it's very hard to make money from it. You know what I mean? Unless you monetize it. Unless you got something like, you know, with music, your money is in your merchandise. With music, your money is in your other stuff. You know what I mean? Like the shows, if you get paid for a show, You got to have a huge name to actually make some decent money from music. You know what I mean? So you have to like have other avenue streams. You know what I mean? Or even if you're a promoter, you know, like with music, you know, so you put your own events on, like stuff like that. Right. So, you know, just talking to people and friends and all that stuff about like different ways to make money just with whatever skills and talents you have. That's where it all started. And then after that, I started talking to business. It's like, man, like I can help you guys, like just do some better stuff, you know. But that all, like I say, it all started with my journey to entrepreneurship and also with speaking, because through like the speaking platforms, man, I kind of started talking to people about like what I knew how to do, what I learned, you know, because I started like once I got to entrepreneurship, I became like a nerd, like for entrepreneurship. Yeah. I started reading and I started watching so many videos about like marketing. I started watching so many videos about business, listening to so many motivational speeches. I started reading books about business and marketing and all this other stuff, and so I just started like engulfing myself in everything to do with like business entrepreneurship. So that became like just a big part of my life. So I guess I naturally transitioned into trying to help other people create like something for themselves. But also the biggest reason why I do it is because I like empowering people. I like people feeling like they have some power within their lives, man. You know, I don't like people feeling like jobs control them, or feeling like other people control them, or feel like other stuff controls them. You know what I mean? So that's a big part of why I do it, you know. And I want to do this until the day I die, because I feel rewarded. I really do. It feels so rewarding to empower people, man. Like if I could share something with somebody, whether like I say, whether it's through my speaking, music, art stuff, whether it's through that, or whether it's through consulting with somebody, you know, one-on-one, or whether it's a business, consulting with them that'll empower them to make a ton of money, or to just make up a new idea, or to better something about themselves or whatever. Like I love that, man, you know. But yeah, definitely.
Also, when you with doing rap and everything, you used to be known as what was your old name?
Oh, I was known as Risen, Risn, yeah. Risen, yeah.
Why'd you pick that name?
That was just symbolizing rising to a new life, man. You know, the shirt that I had was I am risen. Like I had a shirt that was pretty dope too. It said I am risen on it. But it symbolizes rising to a new life, man. You know, I rose to a new life, you know, when I was 18, you know, when I had that encounter I had, like I told you about, you know, at that men's place, man. And that's where it started for me, man, you know, and that was just the start of the journey, you know, the journey had to continue, you know. But so I realized like I picked Risen because I'm like, man, you know, we all have to rise, you know what I mean, above like whatever we may have grown up, you know, and experiencing, you know, like that doesn't have to define us, man. We can rise to a new life. We can rise. So I was like, risen, man, you know, I'm risen. So yeah. And to this day too, I still stand by that saying, you know, I am risen, you know, and I talk to people about it. I still have the shirts too and everything. Sometimes people want them because they understand you know, what it means and everything. So, you know, I still rock with it. But I changed my name, and I just go by TC Boyd, the artist now, because I just wanted something that was more overall, like kind of closer to home in the sense of like my name goes. So, you know, you got my name on there, and it talks about the fact that I'm an artist, you know what I mean? I know it's kind of self-explanatory because I do art, but I just liked it, you know what I mean? Like TC Boyd, the artist or whatever. Right. So I was like, I'm gonna just rock with that, you know what I mean? And just like stick with that from now on. So.
Hell yeah.
But a lot of people didn't know me as Risen, man, because I was doing a lot of stuff under that name even before I moved to the Quad Cities. But I feel like I've been able to transition, you know, fans over. You know, I probably lost some, but, you know, I feel like I was able to transition, you know, fans over to the new name, you know.
That can be like a headache sometimes.
Oh,
the name change and shit.
Yeah. I had a lot, because I had people like, you know, even like old stuff I put up under Risen, man, you know, even on my YouTube, you know, they'll like comment like, you know, about Risen and stuff like that. I'm like, man, yeah, like where's Risen, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But like I'll share like, man, I go by TC Boyd, the artist now, you know, so that they know, you know, but it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. Man, and one of the other things that I've noticed from along your journey is not just bettering your mental state, but bettering your physical state too. Didn't you go down like a rabbit hole of like getting into health and everything too? You seem pretty fit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
active and everything, but you didn't used to always be this way either.
Yeah, man. I wish. Yeah, I'll have to send you some pictures, man. Y'all know you probably saw them on Facebook.
Yeah,
but So I was always about 155, 150, 155 ish. You know.
How tall are you?
And I'm like 5'10". You know what I mean? So I was always about 155, muscular, like more muscular, like fit, like a Bruce Lee looking, like you know what I mean, like more like that. Especially in college, cause I worked out like a dog in college. Like I was into martial arts and stuff, man. I was always into that. So I love martial arts. So I was always working out, and when me and my wifey got together, we had our first kid, and I started working that first job I had. I just was eating, and I wasn't working out as much. So I would still eat similar to how I ate when I was in college, but then I wasn't working out as much. You know what I mean? So it didn't correlate in my mind that you can't do that because your body's gonna change. You know what I mean? So long story short, I was always 155. I got up to 220, like 225, 220, 225. But it was all fat though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't muscle. I wasn't working out. You know what I mean? It was all fat. So my belly, butt, like legs, face, everything. And in that picture I had on my social media, it kind of shows that, because most people didn't know that. So yeah, I got up to, I gained a lot of weight. You know what I mean? And so I got into the health journey because I met a guy at a health food store. He had cancer. He's probably about like 78 years old, I think he was, or 80 at the time. He told me when I met him, but he had cancer, and he showed me like the lesion. He had like a big like lesion on his back. It was like that big that healed. It was like the tumor or whatever it was, but it healed though. And he had a scar left back there that he showed me, and he told me what he used. There was this thing called Essiac tea, ESSIAC tea. So it's like an herbal tea that he was using. And he healed himself of cancer naturally. His doctors told him he was gonna die. He's gonna die. You're crazy. You need to get chemo. You need to get radiation, all that. He was like, no. I mean, I found out about this. I'm gonna try this. And then they were like, you're crazy. They told me he was gonna die. He didn't die, man. He was talking to me that day at the health food store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that was like where my journey started, man. So I didn't start eating good right away or nothing like that. But the seed was sown. You know what I mean? The seed was sown in my mind, man. And so I started researching that stuff too. I started researching health. I started watching documentaries. I looked up the Essiac tea that he talked about.
How do you spell that again?
Essiac it's ESSIAC. Okay. So Essiac, yeah. Essiac tea.
Where's that from?
It was a nurse in Canada back in the 30s or 40s, can't remember. Her name was Reen Case. So Reen Case, so Case spelled backwards is Essiac.
Okay.
That's how you spell her last name, but backwards is Essiac. That's how they got that name. But she was healing people of cancer all from the 1920s or 30s up until her death. And it was kind of suppressed. You know, people don't talk about it much. But she fought for like trying to get it all like, you know, like respected in the medical community in Canada and all that stuff, but got rejected obviously, you know. But she was healing people. Like people coming to her clinic, she's healing them of cancer, like over and over. People come healing. She learned it from a Native American medicine man that taught her the herbs, because she went to the Native American guy, and people were saying that this guy cured them of such and such. She's like, what? Really? How's that possible? That's not possible. You can't cure cancer. You know, she didn't know, you know, at that point. But she went to the guy and she learned from him, and she saw the patients that he had, so she started practicing it because she was a nurse. And so that's how she got started on that journey. And she healed, like I say, lots of people using her herbal formula too. And so for me, I started researching her, and I started researching other stuff. So I got into this whole journey. You know, like I said, I was still eating whatever I wanted. I was still eating crap, you know what I mean? But I was learning. So as I started learning more, then I started gradually incorporating healthier stuff into my diet, you know what I mean? So over a period of a few years, I started losing that weight, you know, gradually. So that's how that whole thing, you know, I lost like 80 plus pounds or so or whatever, you know, of fat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't muscle, it was fat. But I say that too to encourage people too, because I feel like sometimes when people are like heavy and overweight, they feel discouraged. Like, man, it's hard to lose weight. I'm like, no, you can do it, man. And I don't say it just from theory, where you know how people give you theory sometimes, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, this is practical advice that I learned about from other people. This is what you can apply. This is the theory on it, and it might work, don't get me wrong, but it feels different when somebody's walked in those shoes, you know what I mean? I've walked in the shoes of been overweight, and like literally it was all fat. I gained like 80 plus pounds of fat with no muscle, you know what I mean? So I know how it feels to have to lose like 80 pounds at least of fat, you know. And so like it was crazy too. My sleep was horrible. I was snoring like I never snored before. I started snoring all the time, snoring every night. You know what I mean? I was fat, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so recently, man, that was a few years ago. So recently, I did a fast. I did a juice fast. This was like my 5th fast I probably did. My longest fast before that was probably like 14 days, 15 days. So this was like 43 days, and that was intense. But it was good, man, because I felt my body change. You know, because, you know, my diet has always been up and down. I tell people this a lot. Like, my diet, I go from eating great to eating terrible. I mean, eating anything I see, I eat. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm being real. Like, that's just been my journey, man.
Still to this day?
Still to this day, yeah. Still to this day, you know. Like, now, after my fast I did, 42 days, I feel like my body has gotten adjusted. Because what happens when you cleanse your body and you do fast and stuff, your body starts to regulate a little more. So all the overgrowth, the candida, bacteria, all that stuff, since it starts to get out of your digestive system, then your body can start to like kind of get normalized to where you can actually reset and start to put the things in that you need. So now your body isn't craving all the crappy stuff no more. So that's why I feel like I am now. So I'm not craving any of the crappy stuff like I used to crave it, you know what I mean, before I did it. But the thing is, though, it's like, since I don't crave it, I'm not eating it, but I still, like, you can eat. This is why I tell people, like, because I don't call myself vegan. Like, I call myself somebody that tries to eat plant-based mostly. You know, mostly I try to eat plant-based. Will I eat some fish and chicken? Yeah, I'll eat some fish and chicken. You know what I mean? Like, will I eat it often? No, I wouldn't eat it often at all. You know what I mean? Because I just know how it clogs your digestive system more, you know. But because I know when I talk to people about health, sometimes they think I'm saying like you can't eat meat. I never told them about you can't eat meat. You know what I mean? I just feel like the thing with meat is I tell people to be careful not to eat too much, because it's just known that it slows your digestive system down. And most diseases, well, all disease starts in the gut, is what they say. So yeah, you probably heard that before. Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, and the disclaimer is like, I know you know this. There's like no like one size fits all type of diet either, because it's so crazy, like nutrition, you know,
right.
Like people have learned so much in the last 20 years, like even in the last like 10 years, like, and it's still confusing as shit. It's like, it's crazy. It's like basically comes down to like, for one, like maybe your ancestors, what they ate and stuff and everything, and it's just really weird.
Well, yeah, a big thing too is knowing your body, because I tell people to test out their bodies, because one thing I'll say, like I know I've told a few people this, I was like, man, like test out your diet. So for example, if you eat like a normal American diet, test out eating a normal American diet, and then test out eating more of a plant-based diet. Because the average American diet consists of, like, you know, often a lot of dairy, a lot of meat, you know what I mean, a lot of carbs, like as long as like bread, pastas, you know, that type of stuff.
And tons of sugar.
And sugar, oh yeah, sugar too, for sure, yeah. So that's kind of like normal for an American diet, you know, because like we wake up in the morning, what do we eat? We eat the bacon. Well, yeah, we eat either we eat some cereal, you know what I mean, that might have sugar in it, or we're eating like, you know, or if we eat like, you know, say we eat like cooked meal, we eat the oatmeal, you know what I mean, we'll eat the you know, toast, we'll eat the egg, you know what I'm saying? So like when you look at kind of what you're eating first when you wake up, you don't really eat anything that's like fully like live and living. So the thing about like fruits and vegetables, they're alive, you know, they still have like the life in them, you know what I mean? So when you eat that, you'll notice, keep moving this thing. So when you eat that, you'll notice that you feel more alive. Like when you eat, like say you first wake up in the morning and if you eat like an apple or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like because the apple is living still, you'll notice your energy levels feel different. And it's so crazy. Like, that's what I found out when I was on my journey. Like, I found out, like, when I ate live stuff and living stuff, I felt more living. I felt more alive. But it makes sense. What I found through my studying of all this stuff is that when we eat cooked food, we cook out enzymes, we cook out nutrients. So the food is essentially dead. So it makes sense that when we eat it, we feel a little more dead. Not like we're dying, but you know what I'm saying? But our bodies feel a little more dead. Like we feel a little more bogged down, might sometimes feel a little more tired depending on what we eat. But it's for those reasons. But when we eat stuff that's still alive and living, then our bodies feel a little more alive because the nutrients and enzymes and all that stuff are still living. So when they go through our body on a cellular level, they rejuvenate us, you know? So, but anyway, I tell people to test it out. Like, test out the standard American diet for like a couple weeks, and then test out like more of a raw, living, alive, plant-based diet for a couple weeks, and then pay attention to your body, how your body feels. You know what I mean? So if you notice like your body does feel more alive and good and vibrant when you eat that more plant-based, you can still incorporate some of the other stuff, but know that like you should incorporate more of the plant-based, and then just maybe a little bit of the other stuff that you were used to eating. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you still, you know, you can still enjoy like what you eat. You know, you don't gotta like go crazy or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But you do want to like incorporate the things that you know after you test it out, your body feels better when you have it. You know what I mean? You're not feeling tired. You're not feeling sluggish. You're not feeling bogged down. You're not feeling, you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing that happened when I fast, though. My body is more sensitive to things now. So I know when I eat something that ain't right for my digestive system, right for my body, I'm like, body's like, nope, don't do that.
Yeah,
you know
yeah, yeah. Because if you start like eating healthy, then if you have like a cheat day later on, it's like you can really tell like the toll it takes on you or whatever.
Yeah, you notice it, man. Yeah. So that's usually what I just try to tell people, man, just to because you know, like I said, I don't believe there's a one size fit all, man. I just believe there's best practices.
Right.
Like best practices is like mostly plant based, and then like this is what I say, man. Like I say, nobody got to do this, but this is what I say. Like if you can eat like at least like 70% plants, you know what I mean, plant-based live foods, and you eat 30% whatever the heck you want after that, like you'll notice a huge difference in your body. Like you will, like your body will feel different, your energy will feel different, like you'll notice a huge difference, man, you know. And like some people wouldn't be able to do 70 or wouldn't want to do 70. I mean, even if you did 60, you'll notice a difference, you know what I'm saying? Like 60% live living food, plant-based, you know what I mean? And then 40% whatever else you want, like you normally eat, you'll notice a difference, man, still, you know. And on top of that, though, one of the hugest things is water. Drinking a lot of water. Drinking like, I mean, ideally you want to be drinking like a gallon of water a day if you can, you know what I mean? Because majority of us are dehydrated and we don't realize it. Like we're dehydrated. Like a lot of times when you feel tired too sometimes, and you drink like 3 cups of water, you realize, dang, I don't feel tired no more. Because your body's like dehydrated. You know, your body's constantly breaking down food. And that's the thing, if you eat a lot of meat, your body's constantly breaking down food, constantly. And if you're not drinking enough water too, on top of that, so your body's dehydrated, your organs dehydrated, you know what I mean? Like all the stuff inside is just, it can't function well. So eventually, like I say, without proper nutrition, without proper water intake, eventually we end up finding ourselves with crazy stuff. And it don't matter what, like, you know, like really what, like, because I know a lot of times, you know, I used to think like you got to be like big and fat to get sick or something like that. Man, you could be skinny as all get out, or you can be as big as all get out. But like certain things can happen in our bodies, you know what I mean? You know, when it comes to like, you know, when I've been taken care of properly, but yeah. I sound like a nerd, man.
No, like I'm the same way, dude. Just studying, like, just fucking learning about nutrition. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, cause like anything at all. It's like you could say like you could just say anything. Oh, bread's bad. You can go online. There's like a million people telling you why bread is bad. Then there's a million people telling you like, no, it's totally good. You know, that's like for everything. It's like milk's bad. No, it's good. Oh, it's bad. It's like for every topic. It's like like on both sides of it. It's crazy. Yeah. And you got to find out what works for you. Really, the most important thing, best advice would be, I guess, to get your blood work done. Right. Like your nutritional blood profile or something. Yep. So then you at least know, instead of shooting in the dark. Otherwise, it's just like best practices. Yep.
No, you're absolutely right, man. Yeah, I usually recommend people do that too, like, because I had people ask me about my fast, and I say, man, get your blood work done. That's why I tell people, like, when they ask me about fasting, I'm like, get your blood work done. And if you decide to do a fast, have your blood work checked periodically, especially if you do a long fast. Like if you do like what I did.
Were you taking supplements?
I was, yeah. I was
Okay.
taking herbal supplements. Yeah, I was still taking like these vitamins, but it was like more of a drinking. You drink them and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I was still doing that. Yeah. Oh yeah. While
yeah.
I was fasting,
Man.
yeah, I was making sure. Yeah.
Just a lot of water, a lot of fruit juice.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though too, what's important, like if you like if somebody does, somebody doesn't decide to do a fast, the most important thing is like you have to know, like for example, your iron. You can get your iron from, like if you're juicing, get your iron from your kale, get it from your leafy green vegetables, get it from your spinach. They have a really good iron in them. So you want to make sure like you're getting your iron and you're getting like what I was doing when I was doing my fast for like B12 and stuff like that. Cause like those are two things, like iron, B12, two things that you want to be very aware of when you're doing like a fast and stuff like that. So I was getting those sources from plants, but also I was getting it from different like supplements and stuff that I was taking while I was fasting.
Mm-hmm.
So that I was making sure that I was covered along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had like herbal supplements, and then I had just like other supplements and stuff like that I would take to kind of keep me covered along those lines. But outside of that though, yeah, I was drinking a lot of water. I was doing teas, a lot of teas, and herbal stuff, and then juices, yeah, fruit, vegetable juices, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, man. It's 2019. We all gotta stay hydrated out here.
Right.
I'll drink to that.
Right. I'll drink
Cheers.
to that too, man. Right. Cheers. For real.
Damn.
But
Now,
yeah.
are you? Do you eat bread or?
I try to eat bread minimally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I eat it, so often. I mean, every so often.
What about dairy?
Dairy, no. I don't do dairy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, out of everything, I mean, I'll do it if I have to. I'm just hungry and ain't nothing else
Sure.
around. I'll eat it. You know what I mean? I'm not like, you know what I mean? Because it ain't gonna kill me.
That's
you know
the
what
other thing. I'm not like a sociopath about it. Like, no, never again.
No, I'm
Like,
not. No, I'm not. The reason I'm not too is because like I feel like for me, man, I just try to like have a, like I say, best practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not too strict on myself to where if I absolutely had to eat something, I'm just like going crazy. Like no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like for me though, dairy is one of the least things I try to eat out of all things. More so because more so just a lot of things I've looked up about it more so, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything else though, like, like for example, like if it's some, like chicken, fish, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, like those like are things I'm most likely gonna, eat periodically, when I want to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might not be a regular thing, you know what I'm saying? But periodically I'll definitely do that, beef for me, I probably won't eat beef really, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I do, it'll be rare, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, very rare. Just because it stay in your digestive system too long, and I know how my digestive system will feel with that staying in my digestive system so long, But my bad. Go ahead. You had another question or not?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's gonna ask about another food or anything.
Well, I mean, I think I was gonna ask something. I can't remember.
I probably said it right.
Yeah, you probably covered it.
I probably brought
Well,
it up like beef.
Well, are you eating a lot of seeds or nuts too, or?
I do try to eat nuts, but I'm still like lately though I haven't eaten much nuts because once I ended my fast, like I noticed that I had to take it really easy. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
couldn't just jump into eating because I like freaking be
Yeah.
sick and like make myself hurt crazy. So what happened was when I broke my fast, I ended up having to do another mini fast for like 4 days because my digestive system wasn't ready. So I started eating, once I started eating like bananas and eating like,
Just
avocado
started with
stuff.
some fruit.
Yeah, I started with some fruit and stuff, but I didn't start with. Once you break a fast, you want to start with water-based fruits. So like watermelons would be the best fruit you want to eat. But during that time when I ended my fast, watermelons weren't available because this ain't watermelon season. You know what I mean? So I ended it in beginning of January. You know what I mean? This ain't watermelon season right now. So I was looking for them, man. And so I could have tried to get it shipped, but I didn't really want to go through the hassle. So I just started eating like bananas, very dry fruits. You know what I mean? And I did eat a little bit of kiwi and stuff. But long story short, I was eating avocados too. I noticed that my stomach started experiencing a lot of discomfort, by day 7. And so I realized I was eating too many avocados. I was eating gang avocados, like serious, like crazy. And
how can you afford this?
Right, right. So I was eating a lot of avocados, man. And so I ended up having I think I had an ulcer. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had an ulcer, because just how I felt, and I was looking it up and researching, and I realized I think it was an ulcer. So I just did like an ulcer healing diet. I started doing like a lot of broths, because that's like an ulcer healing diet, and then like a lot of I did some ginger teas, and there's also chamomile tea is really good for if you have like any kind of ulcers or stomach problems like that. So I was doing chamomile tea regular, and I was doing broths like chicken broths, vegetable broths. I started drinking that, sipping that like every day. That was all I was doing that every day. So I did that for about 4 or 5 days. I think it was about 5 days. So that was like another mini fast, just drinking water, doing broths and doing teas, herbal teas. I did that. So I technically did like a, almost like a 48 day fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I had to redo another mini fast to help my stomach heal. But after I did that though, my stomach got back to normal. So I just like slowly incorporated very, better fruit. I wouldn't eat avocados like that no more because it was very, hard to break down because it was so, high in fat.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, yeah, that's how that whole thing, went down.
Now, and you say you eat mostly like a living diet with the plants, fruits, and vegetables. What do you stray away from as far as not living? Like, I mean, obviously anything it's like in a box, like a processed food or whatever, fast food, but like, I'm sorry, did you say you eat bread? Or
I try to. Well, I mean, I still eat bread. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But I'll still eat bread. Yeah.
So like by non-living, you mean like you stay away from meat for the most part?
Oh, so yeah. What I mean by living is like cooked and uncooked.
Yeah.
So
you just try not to cook.
Yeah, so
much.
whether it's like rice, like say like even if it's rice or potatoes cooked or any of that, like that's what I mean by living more so. So not just like animals and stuff, but I mean like actual like living. Yeah. Because like when you cook, say like you cut up some potatoes, cook them up, that kills a lot of the enzymes and kills a lot of the like properties, nutritional properties in it because it heats it up because heat does that. So you'll still have a little bit of stuff in it that's good, but a lot of it's cooked out. So that's what I mean more so. So
like, would you eat something like? Do you eat rice then?
Oh yeah. I eat non-living food. You know what I mean? And I say it like that on purpose because it's when it's cooked, it's like nutrients are cooked out, so it's technically not alive anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's you can eat food that's non-living. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? I just say if you eat mostly food that is living, you'll notice a difference. You know what I mean?
It's mainly like fresh, not...
Yeah, fresh
So what do you eat on a daily basis then?
So basically, man, I'll eat like bananas, apples, nuts and seeds. I'll still eat avocados and stuff like that. And lately I've been, strawberries, berries, like all that stuff.
Or...
Well, no, I'll eat it. I'll do smoothies too, but I'll eat it too. Because eating it just makes you fuller longer, versus like doing a smoothie, boom, gulp it down and it's gone, and then you need to do it like right away again, But so basically I'll eat like fruit, carrots, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds and stuff like that. But then also, I'll eat like, say for example at home, like there's this like rice puff cereal thing that we keep. And I eat that, what I'm saying? Like, which is like some coconut milk or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'll still eat like oatmeal, periodically or whatever. But for dinner, I normally eat like cooked food, which like I say, what I call non-living food. It sounds so bad when I say it. It's not really bad, you know what I mean? It's just the fact that, stuff gets cooked out of it. But right. So I eat cooked food, you know what I mean? A lot of times, in the evening, so like, rice, potatoes, whatever, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
All that type of stuff.
Do you practice intermittent fasting?
I do some days, yeah. I have noticed when I do it, it feels better on my digestive system, to let my body like not really intake anything until, a certain point, so.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up on that myself, trying to keep at it, but I don't know, it's weird with me. I never really feel bad.
Yeah.
Like even like I used to just not care about health at all, you know, just eating fast food or whatever. And even then, I mean, I've always been skinny and everything.
Yeah.
I just don't gain weight and this and that. And I don't really feel bad either. But for me, I guess maybe a lot of foods is just noticing which ones give you too much of like a maybe carb load or insulin load or spike your blood sugar or whatever that gives you that crash later on. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I would notice is like if I eat large amounts of heavy foods, like, you know, I might just get tired.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I don't really notice any other things about my health as far as when it comes to eating. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, you know the biggest way to know though, like to test it out is like kind of like what I was saying with your like what I talked about earlier, like with the 2 week thing. 2 weeks. So like eat your normal diet for 2 weeks or flip it up, do the other diet, but eat like a certain diet for 2 weeks and then eat mostly like, or if not all, plant-based for 2 weeks. I usually try to say all plant-based for 2 weeks. So you eat like just fruits, vegetables, nuts, you know what I mean? That's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that's live and living. Like just see how your body feels. Cause what happens is like we grow up eating certain diets. So we don't really know fully what our body kind of really, you know what I mean? Like, is really predisposed to needing. You know what I mean? Until we do something like that, because it's kind of like a cleanse. So it's like when you cleanse your body can tell you what it really should be having. But it's like until we cleanse our bodies, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't really know a lot of times because our bodies is still processing a lot of different things that we had over the years. You know what I mean? Because it's still registering that this is something that I know I want or need, or this is something that, but until you like get out everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now let me try this and kind of see. And you know, your body will tell you at that point. That's just what I found, you know, just through my different trials with trying to like figure this whole thing out, you know, it's just, you know, just for my own journey. It's kind of helped, you know, I mean, it may not be the only way to go about it, but I know it's kind of been helpful for me, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, one of the other things that's super crazy that most people don't have any idea about is like your freaking gut biome. You know, like how that basically affects everything, like in your whole body in a sense, like even like your mood, whatever. And people just have no idea. Like it's not like, I don't feel like that's like common knowledge.
We don't get taught that. That's why.
And we didn't even know back when we were in school, I'm sure. You know, like, but it's crazy. Yeah, I would definitely need to I would love to get the blood work done. I still have to do that myself.
Yeah.
Have you done that for yours?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, I did that, man.
I need to do that. I want to get one of those continuous blood glucose monitors or whatever that you wear or whatever, so you can eat something and see how it reacts to you or whatever. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of cool little gadgets out here, man. Yeah, I know. I found out about the gut health, and just how the fact that our like gut is like a whole brain itself, which is crazy. You know how, and that's why it connects with our brain, all the like neurotransmitters in our brain and all the stuff with our gut. Like it's like a whole ecosystem of like brain down there in our gut, man. It's insane. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like I say, man. It's so much I have a lot of thoughts about health, you know, and why we don't learn certain things. I don't want to get into it, you know. I don't want this to become like a, you know, like like he's you know, he's like blaming people, you know, for why we don't know we should. But I feel like there's a lot of reasons why we don't learn it, you know.
There's a lot of reasons why we don't learn a lot of certain things.
Yeah, because people benefit from it, right? You know what I mean, financially. So, but I don't want to get into all that. You know what I mean? But I really believe that, you know, just from the things I've researched and learned, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy out here, man. It's just weird. We're all on this crazy journey. Each one has their own journey. Yeah. And you've had a crazy one, it sounds like.
Yeah, I've been blessed though, man. You know, through the pain and the challenges, man, comes the beautiful roses and triumphs, man. So, you know,
it takes pressure to make diamonds.
That's right, man. That's real talk. Yeah,
that's so dope. Yeah, from how you started to where it is now. So what's the future look like for you? Do you release a lot of albums? Is that, or are you focused on business ventures, things like that?
Well, I am planning on putting out an album or two this year. A small EP at the end of the year, more towards November, I'm planning on putting on an EP about like uniting people. Actually, yeah, you're sporting one of my shirts there.
Shout out. Is it Unity Clothing?
So it's called Wear Unity.
Wear Unity
yeah,
Clothing.
So WEAR. Yeah, Wear Unity Clothing.
Shout out. Got this fresh ass shirt.
Yeah, man.
Looking good.
He's sporting it, man. Looking fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I started Wear Unity Clothing just to like combat a lot of the negativity. Stuff try to divide us because of skin color and stuff like that. I feel like it's just stupid. So that's why I started. I started actually with these shirts. It says racism is stupid. Don't be stupid. So that was like the first shirt I started with. Just because I was like, man, it's stupid. Like everybody's the same. We're just people, man. It's too much stuff tries to pull us apart for dumb reasons. But I'll say this. I believe that there's people that financially benefit from us being divided too, but I won't get into that.
Yeah, well, that's a fact.
Yeah, but I won't get into that right now either, you know what I mean? But
we're going to have you back on again in the future, and we're going to go deep into
yeah, hey, no, I would love to, bro, for real. I would love to, man. I just see the world so differently now, man. Just even the different things I've experienced, but also just getting into business, so I start to see how the world works more, and I see why stuff happens the way it happens, and why, certain things going on, why other things aren't going on, and why certain things are learned and certain things aren't learned. So I start seeing the money game. And so, I love to come back on and talk about that more in depth, on another occasion.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if they want to check out any of your listeners, man, Wear Unity Clothing, man, the big thing is, like, as you'll see on our Facebook page, we just post stuff that just inspires and unites us. You know what I mean? Like, we post a lot of pictures about just like, I don't like saying black and white. I know I said it earlier just because, because people reference black and white more, or, African American or whatever. But I like saying, like, just if you talk about color, like, black people are brown, different shades of brown, or white people are like tan and beige, different shades of tan, beige, and all that combined together.
Pink and
you know what I mean? Right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But because like, just real talk, because I've never seen a white person like this on my shirt white. I've never seen nobody that looks white, like white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even albinos, they're like
they're still like a
nice cream,
some type of like cream tannish color. You know what I mean? Beige color. Very like light beige.
You're never gonna be whiter than off-white.
Yeah,
the most.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen that. And as far as black people, like, I've never seen nobody that looks like black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen brown. I've seen people look almost purple even. but I've never seen nobody that's straight up black. You know what I mean? So I just like combating a lot of that. A lot of that, because I feel like, think about this, man. I did a poem in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, and I talked about how the fact that black and white are like day and night. They're complete opposites. And I was like, no wonder there's so much space between us. Like, if you put black people and white people on that name of black and white, like, black and white are complete opposites.
Yeah, the complete ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, complete ends of the spectrum. You can't get no further than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, no wonder there's like so much space between us if we keep living by that, by that. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like more so I want to do away with it, man. If I do something in my life in the future, because I know you asked about future too, one of the things I want to do in the future, if I can in any capacity, I want to just get rid of that crap completely. Like, legislation, whatever needs to be done. Like, I think the whole black, white label, all that stuff, yellow, red, all that crap.
What race are you? Asian, Hispanic?
That crap needs to be gone, man. You know what I mean? Because that itself is what divides us, man. You know what I mean? Like, that itself is what, that whole system that was set up, over 600 plus years ago when they started classifying people as that, like, that's what keeps us divided. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about like I just mentioned, like, maybe remove that from like applications or whatever? Tell us your race or what?
Remove from everything, man. Even from vocabulary, man. I mean, I know you can't change you can't change every individual person from saying it, but I'm just saying, like, from job applications to governmental, for governmental stuff, man, to...
I'm trying to think any other place I, like, see or get asked that question. It's always, like, when you're filling out a form or something.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. When you fill out those governmental forms or job forms and stuff like that.
Because that would be crazy if you just passed a law towards, like, they're not allowed to list that or ask that question. It's like, it's just, like, a subtle little thing you could do. What do you think that might do? Like, if that alone, you think that would, like, have, like, even a subconscious effect on people to where they're just, like, not looking at people in that through those types of lenses.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. Because we're still like describing ourselves as like, oh, I'm black, I'm from America, or whatever, because of nationalities too. So there's that. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get to the point where it's like, I'm human.
I think that's more understandable though, even though like the nationality thing is more understandable. You know what I mean? Because like this is the region I live in.
But just drop the race thing.
Yeah, because the race thing I feel like is what divides us, man. Like what race or what? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, there's only one race, man. Like
I'm an American human,
right? You know what I mean?
I'm an Australian human.
I'm just American, yo. Like like. But, you know, like I said, man, there's people that benefit from it. So, and I know I keep saying that, but it's just reality, man.
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean, if you turn on your fucking news, you're going to see a lot of negative shit out here. But I think as a whole, we're hopefully making good progress as society moves along.
Yeah.
We hit some rough patches. But
I think it's up to the people, man. I tell people this all the time, man, because I don't really play politics like that. You know, I don't play left or right or none of that.
Oh, yeah.
I tell people, like, you know, it's evil on every side. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's up to the people, man. Like anything that ever changes in America is the people. You know what I mean? American Revolution, who was that? The people. You know what I'm saying? Like during the Civil Rights era, who was that? The people. You know what I'm saying? Of all colors coming together. You know what I'm saying? So like in other stuff that's happening in America, it's just the people. The people are the ones that make the difference, man. So I feel like anything that we really want and we're really passionate about and serious about, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter party.
Yeah.
Parties don't mean crap. You know what I mean? Because people, I feel like for me, I told somebody this before, like I used to gangbang. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this politics stuff reminds me of gangbanging. I mean, you're on the left.
Seriously,
you're on the right. You know.
Seriously, that because I was gonna say like, he wants to abolish race. I want to abolish political parties. Like,
right, I feel you, bro. I feel you, man.
One of the most toxic things.
It is.
And people don't even realize it. They're just walking through life like, well, my father always told me always vote Republican no matter what, and you just it's like what. You could think for yourself,
right?
Whatever, you know. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's just another way to divide people.
Yeah.
It's like, you got people voting for like pedophiles because, well, I can't vote for a Democrat, or you know, or even vice versa. It's like they just.
Yeah, it's
it's gross.
it is, man. It is, man. You know, I always tell people to think for themselves, man. You know, like to really know why you think what you think or believe what you believe or any of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm about that with everything. I'm about that even what I believe as far as like, you know, my spiritual life goes. I tell people all the time, like, man, know why you and research for yourself and learn for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't just believe everything you hear because someone tells you, even if I tell you it. You know what I mean? Like, go look it up. You know what I mean? So I'm all about that because my biggest thing is like I feel like, you know, people need to know that they are empowered, and that's my thing. Is I empower people. Like, I empower people to think freely. You know what I mean? To freely think on all levels, though. You know what I mean? And so, but that's what it's about, though. Like you said, man. I feel like, man, people need to think. People need to learn. People need to research, man. Like the reason that, like, I'll say this: the reason that, even when we talked about health earlier, the reason that people can be so blinded pertaining to health is because they aren't thinking for themselves. You know, like if you thought for yourself versus like listen to everything a doctor was telling you. You know what I mean? Like if you thought for yourself, there has to be multiple ways. Think about this, bro. There's like, I don't know how many countries in the world, but there's like probably thousands of countries in the world probably. You know what I mean? Because like you got certain continents that got multiple countries all over the place, or maybe hundreds and hundreds. I don't know. Something along those lines though. You know what I mean? But if you got like hundreds and hundreds of countries around the world, then how can we think we're right about everything? Yeah. How can, you know what I mean? So that's more so why I think about it. Like, so you take that pertaining to like everything and you weigh that and you kind of do your own research based on that. Like, man, and that's why the health thing for me has even been something that, you know, has been even magnified because I've looked at other countries and what they do and what they talk about, and they talk about America like, what is America doing? America's silly. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm like, but it's humbling though, because you don't grow unless you actually learn from people that might be better at you than something. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's better at me in like, you know what I mean, taxes or something like that, I'm not gonna be prideful to be like, I know more than you about taxes. No, I actually don't. I may know more than you about music, but I can help you if you need some music stuff, and you can help me if I need to you know what I mean? Like, just be humble.
Don't be big-headed, like, you know, you're never going to grow, or at least not properly.
But that's how we are in America a lot of times, man. You know, so that's why I say the same thing when it comes to health. I'm like, I tell people that all the time, like, we're not the epitome of health. I looked at a poll that was done. It was 50 countries. They rated 50 countries around the world and on health. So one of the like top ones, what was number one? I wish I had it in front of me. It wasn't America though. You know what I mean? It was like what was it?
You said the top for health?
Yeah, like one of the top. It was like they just did 50. They just like a 50 index. It was like a 50 index.
Was it like an Asian or Mediterranean type of?
It may have been. It may have been. It may have been one of those like, I don't know, like one of those like Asian countries probably. Yeah. But America was like number 30 or 28 or 30. With that being said, we have a lot to learn and we need to be humble. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, even like when you're going to your doctors and stuff like that, like, realize there's other options. If you look at an index scale like that, 50 countries, top 50 countries for health, what's the top one? And we're like top 30, like it was like 30 or 32. And I'm like, if you look at those statistics, man, that they came up with, man, I'm like, dude, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, you gotta get out there and expand your mind, learn for yourself too.
You got to. Man.
I mean, I don't know if most, but a lot of the planet has internet access now. It's like, man, we gotta be going further, you know, than what you're just learning in school and just whatever, and just around your social circle and stuff. People just live in bubbles, you know, and you gotta pop that shit.
Yeah, you do, man. You do gotta pop them bubbles, man. Yeah. You got to, man, because it's just you don't really learn, experience, you know, as much of the world when you have such a bubble where you don't experience anything else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's been a cool journey, man. Like I say, I just more so want to empower people. I keep looking at that lava because I just haven't seen those in a while. It's just so cool. I feel like it's
give us a few minutes here. We're gonna be just tune out for a second and just
right. We're just gonna stare at the lava lamp, man.
All right, goodbye. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a liberating journey, man. Just to, you know, I think freely on a lot of stuff, man. You know, and I have people that butt heads with me about health so much. They're like, "What do you mean?"
That's one of the. It's like that's as bad as political parties. Like, what are you talking about? What do you like? I'm on the carnivore diet,
right?
Or something like.
Right? Yeah. I know, man. Yeah, people are like, well, cause I'll come, like, you know, I'll say stuff about the medical community sometimes, and not in a negative way, just more so in a way of like talking about how they don't know everything. That's more so what I say. You know, so I'm not trying to say like, you know, like bashing them, but just more so like, man, I look at other countries that do way better than us at a lot of other things, and I'm like, in America, like medical community, they'll try to tell us like they know everything when you don't. You know what I mean? Like, you're good at, like, I feel like in emergencies and stuff like that, like rare stuff that kind of happens, they do great at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like on a lot of the everyday living, nutritional, all that stuff, they suck at.
And like you said, probably for a reason, a lot of times, like, but.
Because the majority of the stuff is diet-based and what we eat and how we live and our activity, how active we are, how stress levels are, all that stuff. Like,
well, the thing is, like, if you're a normal family doctor who you're going to just see a quick checkup, they don't, like, when they're in school, they don't study, like, nutritional science that heavily. Not anywhere close to as heavily, you know, they're busy studying anatomy or whatever.
And then they study all the pills and drug interactions and all that stuff.
And then they got, like... And then every day they just have pharmaceutical agents coming up to them. Hey, let me take you out to lunch. Oh, would you like to, you know, push this freaking pill and stuff? Like a lot of people say, it's like they're not finding cures. They're treating symptoms. And
yeah, bro.
Oh, that pill gave you a symptom. Here's another pill and another pill. And, you know, man.
It is, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, yo. Yeah. That's why that's why I want people to be free, man. You know, like I said, I have people just coming against me like, dude, like, you know what, my such and such is a nurse and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I'm like, you think? Look, this is my thing. Doctors are required to take from last time I looked it up. It may have changed now, but they were required to take one class in nutrition. One. Yeah. Which is sad. Yeah. Because majority of our issues we have are nutrition based.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's why I say, like, man, when people tell me that stuff, they're like, well, my so-and-so is a nurse, my so-and-so is a doctor. I'm like, yo, so-and-so went through the same thing, that system that's set up that ain't teaching them as much as they need to learn about nutrition and
the whole
about
thing
natural
is
health.
yeah, like even in other aspects, the whole thing is like craziness. Because I learned this one thing that's really crazy was like, you know how like if you're like a nurse or whatever going to school, you have to do your clinicals or whatever, and it's like 12-hour shifts, these crazy shifts that they're like pushing on you and stuff, and like I don't want to be treated by a nurse that's on hour 11 of like the 12 hours. They haven't had lunch, you know. It's like they're just gonna be, hopefully they're doing a good job, but it's like they're gonna be just on autopilot or something. Just they're not like, they're just fucking, their body is stressed out from just doing that. And the thing is, the dude that like, I guess the dude that was involved with starting the whole like, when you go to university and do these clinicals, oh, we're gonna make it 12 hours, this and that. It's like that whole standard was put in place because the dude that was mainly in charge of that, he was on cocaine.
Dang.
You know, it's probably early 1800s or early 1900s or something, and he's on cocaine. Like, you know, 12 hours. Oh, I'm, you know, oh yeah, students can do 12 hours. I'm doing 20 hours or something. It's like, God, come on, man.
That's crazy.
Are you kidding me? Like, and now 2019, like, I just got done with my 12-hour shift. Why? I don't want you to. Work like 6 hours, 8 hours at the most. Like, if you're like a nurse, or if you're like a surgeon or something super, well, surgeries can last for like several hours, but I don't know. Just being like a nurse or something really complicated, it's like, maybe you should just work like 5 hours at the most. I want you to be fresh, mentally ready. Go get some rest, go get some lunch. I don't need you to be strung out an hour 16 of your double shift. Like, fuck out of here. You know?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Dude, like, I had, like, I was cutting something, this was like maybe October or whatever. I was like cutting like some fruit food, and I had sliced my like some of my finger right here, and so you know, I ended up going to I went to like, I don't know if I think I went to urgent care because it was like an emergency, or did I go to the emergency room? I think I went to urgent care or something. Yeah. Just to like, anyway, the guy that was there, the doctor that was on staff there, no, it was, I think I went to the ER because I think urgent care, I don't know if they were open. Anyway, so long story short, I ended up talking to a doctor that was there. He said he did he just got done with a double shift. So he was working pretty much a full, almost 24 hours or however many hours it was. I forgot what he said. But it was like a long, it was more than 12 hours. And so the guy was just so exhausted. And he's like, you know, putting the needle in my thing to make it numb, you know what I mean? And like sewing me up and all that stuff. And I'm just like, and this dude literally, physically, I can look at his eyes. It looks like he just wants to fall asleep. You know,
can I get someone else, please?
Yeah, yo, like, it's insane, man. It's insane, yo. Like,
it's crazy. And the other thing is, like, rest is actually super important for you. It's like, you got to get like a minimum of 7 hours.
Right.
I feel like 7 to 9, it's like super important. And it's like, I only got 4 hours, well, I'll just take a nap later. It's like, no. Right. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You can't make it up. It's weird.
Yeah.
Our bodies are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Crazy
chat,
world.
Man. Yeah,
crazy world.
We live in a crazy world, man. I think that was my light lady calling me or something, trying to say, "Oh, is your radio still going on?" I'm like, yeah, man.
We got another 4 hours now.
Yeah, right. We got like a whole another day left. We got a 12-hour shift.
This is like, I'm on my double already.
Gotta get it in.
Well, yeah, man. I know we both gotta get out of here soon, but
yeah.
But thank you very much for being here.
Oh no, thanks for having me, man.
Great talk.
This has been good, man.
Tell the listeners, what do they need to do? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah,
get a hold of your stuff.
Yeah, man.
Plug in.
So yeah, I go by you know, like you guys know, he said TC Boyd the artist. And you can find me on social media at TC Boyd. That's BOYD. So TC Boyd the artist. That's on Facebook, Instagram, all that. You can get in contact with me there. You can find my clothing brand called Wear Unity Clothing, WEAR Unity Clothing. .com is that website, or you can check it out on Facebook, Wear Unity Clothing on Facebook. And so if you look up just TC Boyd the artist and Wear Unity Clothing, you can find out like a lot of stuff that I'm doing. You know, even some of the other stuff that I'm doing, you'll be able to find that on there. And yeah, man, stay in touch with me. And, you know, I got some new music and stuff coming out. Yeah, I'm just trying to do a lot of stuff, man, positive for the community and for the world. So
It's awesome.
yeah, man.
You have a TC Boyd website?
Oh yeah. TCBoydTheArtist.com is my website. Yep, TC Boyd the Artist.
Nice. Any upcoming shows?
Actually, this Saturday. Well, actually, no. This will be playing after the fact, so never mind. But I have have a few poetry shows. I will be putting on some shows coming up, but the dates aren't set yet, so I can't really say those.
Which means you have to get on the social media,
right?
Like the page, whatever, follow it, keep up to date.
Right? Yeah.
Announcements
definitely.
coming soon. Because you got to go see TC live because it's a dope show. It puts on an amazing performance.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
You
I
won't
appreciate
regret it. I think. I mean, especially out of hip hop artists in the QC, I think you put on like one of the best shows as far as performance.
Man, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot, man. That means a lot,
problem,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love letting people, man, just be entertained, man. You know, so I just, you know, I think part of my passion, you know, I know that's probably part of like what you see with it. Like part of the passion is just from the pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like from the pain that I had a lot growing up, I feel like it just comes out when I perform, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not pain in a bad way. You know what I mean? Pain and energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a crazy story and fucking you're on this beautiful journey, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah,
I'm stoked. Hope you keep this shit up and good things will come.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll do, man. And I appreciate you too, man. Man, I love what you're doing, man. I know you're doing a lot of, artistic stuff, man. And like you're doing the podcast and doing the music stuff too and all that, man. So, definitely, man, shout out to you for that, man. And
thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. I guess we can wrap this up for now. We'll have him back on in the future. I promise. Definitely. All right. We'll see you until next time. Goodbye.
Peace.